untangle the web of the great British electric blues players of the 60s is somewhat baffling. Like, there's so many lineup changes, bands breaking up and reforming with different members, that it's easy to lose track of maybe some of the artists. Sure, there's Cream, Hendrix, it was London where he got his rhythm section and his big break, Led Zeppelin, these are all household names. So it may be a bit of a surprise for people my generation and younger that early Fleetwood Mac, under the leadership of Peter Green, is some deadly psych blues shit. Check the description box below for tabs and backing tracks on my website, information about exactly what sound tools I'm using today, live streams and more on Patreon, and my deep dive courses, and the tab walkthroughs for all the riffs I'm going to play today. That's the second half of the video. For our purposes today, the story starts in 1967 with John Mayall and the Blues Breakers. Clapton has just left that group to start Cream, and so Peter Green is called up to replace him.
John usually chooses the people he wants, chooses very carefully. He knows what he wants. He usually gets it too. How long he keeps what he gets. This goes to anyone. It's a different matter,
Now, replacing Clapton, that's obviously some big shoes to fill, because at that time, we're in the Clapton is God era of things. But Peter Green stepped up, absolutely nailed it. In fact, some folks started referring to him as the Green God. Peter clearly had some songs brewing while he was with John Mayall and the Blues Breakers. So after just one record, he decides to leave. He calls up his buddy, Mick Fleetwood, who he had played with previously, and they start Fleetwood Mac. John McVie, the bass player from Blues Breakers, arrives just a couple of months later. Out of the gate, Peter was a different kind of rock star. He was very humble about being thought of as a guitar hero, and even insisted that his name be removed from the album cover on the first record. Like, everybody called them Peter Green's Fleetwood Mac, but he was the one to be like, I don't need my name on it, man. The first record has the quartet lineup of Jeremy Spencer, Mick Fleetwood, John McVie, and Peter Green. But for me, it's not until Danny Kirwan joins that it gets properly freaky. Theory that a lot of my favorite artists have 3 record runs that are really good, like the Stones have, Let It Bleed, Exile on Main Street, and Sticky Fingers. Sloan has One Chord to Another, Navy Blues, and Between the Bridges. There's Pixies, there's Kinks. Like, you can go ahead and put your own in the comments. But yeah, Fleetwood Mac, it's the same thing. You have those first 3 records that are really all equivalently good. There is a live one, I guess you could kind of attach to that. My favorite, by the way, of that run is the third one. Now, we can't talk about Peter Green without talking about the 59 Les Paul with the out-of-phase neck pickup. He did use a Strat too, by the way. All right, so briefly, the story goes that at some point, Peter removed the neck pickup from his Les Paul and actually left it out for a while. You can find some pictures of him playing with no neck pickup. I think he was intrigued by seeing Clapton play with his one pickup Firebird. Now, he must have somehow damaged that pickup in pulling it out, because when he put it back, he had to have it repaired. And at some point in that process, the magnet was pulled out, spun around, and put back in, and then the pickup was put back in the wrong way. That means that when both pickups are on, they cancel each other out. You get phase cancellation. So you get this kind of notched out, kind of nasally, phasey sound. Really, all that happens when phase is canceled is that certain frequencies are getting removed. So you can approximate that with an EQ curve. Still not really going to sound like it. Currently, this Retro Sound 59 Custom is not wired up that way. I might do it at some point in the future, but I do have my trusty 1966 Fender Mustang, which is wired up in such a way that I can get phase cancellation. Now, the sustain won't be there, but the quack will. Let's take a listen. Amp-wise, good luck chasing Peter Green's tone, because you can see him playing Voxes, you can see him playing Marshalls, Fender Dual Showmans, and even the early Oranges / Mata amps. Generally, it seems like the common denominator is mass, like big iron, like a big transformer, and mostly it seems like big tubes, 6L6s, EL34s. Like, he didn't tend to use little Supros or little practice amps or things like that. But really, tone is in the hands. Reverb is a part of his sound, and he would use many different kinds of reverbs. Like when he was playing Fenders, yeah, he would use the amp reverb, but like I can listen and hear room reverb, I can hear plate reverb, I can hear chamber reverb, depending on what song. Okay, the different kinds of reverb. You got spring reverb, like from an amp. Room reverb. Chamber reverb. And plate reverb. And this is part of the Peter Green mythology. This can happen. It happened to a friend of mine. You can take LSD, and if you have undiagnosed schizophrenia, it'll kind of make that come to the surface and be a significant life-changing problem to deal with. And yeah, there is a story, I think it was in Munich, that this happened to Peter Green.
The reality was that Peter was already set to leave Fleetwood Mac, pretty much. But my God, this was like the final nail in the coffin, which of course we related to.
They said, oh, there's a party we've been invited to at the this big, huge mansion place in the forest.
We went out to this sort of mansion, pseudo, big old weird house.
Peter Green and Danny Kerwin both went together to that house in Munich. Both of them took acid, as I understand it. Both of them, as of that day, became seriously mentally ill.
A couple of times I'd look and he'd be sitting in the back of the car with Danny, and he'd like this, and Danny would do it, and he would be on the other side, but it's like this, together. And I can't remember how this, they were locked in something together, and it wasn't good.
Stories like this also make me think of Rocky Erickson from 13th Floor Elevators. Similar thing happened to him, although I think he got busted for LSD, and then the state of Texas forced electroshock therapy on him. Like, ugh, that is some freaking One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest stuff. Be careful out there, kids. But hey, it's not a total bummer. Peter did get the help he needed and managed to get himself mostly back together. He even played on some of the later Fleetwood Mac stuff. So in conclusion, Peter Green is definitely one of those unique artists who did it his own way. And while, yeah, he never achieved giant mass pop culture notoriety, he is very much respected amongst musicians. Now let's learn some of those licks. Albatross was a hit for early Fleetwood Mac, and boy, that progression actually shares DNA with Beatles' Here Comes the Sun King. But anyway, the progression is like E for 4 bars, and then F sharp minor for 2 bars, back to E. That's the jam right there. And so the interesting thing is dropping in there with a little piece of an A chord and then an E major 7 against that, and the count goes 2, 3, 4, and 2, 3, 1 lonely B. And then I'm kind of combining the parts to get the little leady thing. Let's see what's the best way to fret that. That's major pentatonic. I think we can see the F sharp chord there. Yeah, Yeah, very simple. I talk about this all the time. Good melodies are often pentatonic, major pentatonic or minor pentatonic. And so, yeah, the little harmonized part, the lower part of the harmony, E major pentatonic. So we have a let it sing. Really listening to get that intonation right. One thing about bending, yeah, all fingers lined up, those like that. Death grip on the neck. Also, the side of this hand is helping to stop any potential noise. Twice. And then it goes up to the F sharp minor. So it is a perfect pre-bend though. Back it up. If you want to know the higher part, I made a video about how harmonies work on guitar. It's almost always a third higher. So if Peter was, bending this F sharp up to a G sharp, Jeremy, or it's probably Danny actually, Danny Kerwin, no slouch, is bending this A up to a B. I think I'm going to do it over here. Yep, and then. And then, yeah, just. And then I think I moved it back. Also very Pink Floyd, it reminds me of David Gilmour's stuff on Dogs. Oh Well is a cool one because it has like a 4-part riff structure. I'll show you what I mean. We have the first riff. I call that riff A, and then riff B goes back to riff A, and then riff C. Cool, put them together. And again, always with riffs, especially maybe with riffs and grooves, drag the tempo around. Don't speed it up. Slow it down. Really feel all the pushes and pulls. That's really where you're going to develop your feel, is if you can pull that tempo back and really just hit the downbeats really hard and pop the upbeats in the right way. And then it just goes up a little higher, which that's a lot like Jane's Addiction Mountain Song, yeah. I won't say that's a ripoff because this is not the most uncommon thing to do, to go. And there's all sorts of overdubs. Danny's probably doing, where's Danny? Maybe doing a, or maybe a, but anyway, then you have this great run. Cool, that's blues, E blues, there's that blues tone, and then the, slow it down. So you have the little chromatic thing here. And then once you're at this tone, it's 16th notes, but it's a bar of 5/4. It's kind of weird. Slower. Peter's phrasing on Black Magic Woman is so emotive and loose. I'm not going to say it's better than the Santana version, but I like it more. So the first phrase, it's D minor or D blues. So there, I put a little slide in. Nice vibrato there. Then he goes to kind of that little extension of the blues scale. That little box up higher. That's such a cool lick because it goes up and then quick. It's almost like a Freddie King thing. But then he just lets it breathe for so long. And then we have, that was actually landing here on the A minor. And then we have this great bend. Let's look at that phrase again. A nice bend on that 13. But that phrase really connects to the next one. But let's get that one bar. So you have this. So now we're on the G minor. Aha. That's the G minor lick. That is cool. What's hard for me is I've learned the Santana version. I've known it for so long that my brain keeps trying to play the Santana version. It's getting confused, but anyway. Let's slow that down. So here's the G minor arpeggio. That bend again. And this is cool. It's sweep picking. That's like one of those subtle things that like is not one of the hottest licks in the solo, but it's nice. And then we're getting to the turnaround. So the first bar of the turnaround is, okay, so again, smooth bend up. But it's really swung in a unique way. It's like, it's real, like he has a real kind of circular almost kind of way he swings thing would be the best way to describe it. It's not tight. It's very, flowing. And now the last part of the turnaround, let's see if I get this right. And then, okay, one more time. This points to a thing about the blues scale that no classic rock player goes like that. They're always going to put that note over there. The Green Manalishi is cool because it has shades of harmonic minor in it. And Peter Green, Baum, Jewish. So, I grew up Jewish too. You end up more familiar with like... that kind of sound from going to temple, synagogues. So that riff is, it has a pickup. Was a pickup. That's where I dropped in. And so without the harmony, it's... So it has that great chromatic tone. That's the harmonic minor thing. Okay, harmonize it in thirds. There he is again. That's just a simple, great riff. All right, hit it. Cool. There you have it. Bunch of cool stuff. Hey, I hope this video was helpful for you. If you enjoyed it, please like, subscribe, and share. That costs you nothing, and it helps me out a lot when people do that. One more time, how my business works. Patreon is where there's live Q&A seminars, backing tracks, and more. I update that every week, and I also make comprehensive deep dive courses. You can check it all out on my website. As Bill and Ted would say, be excellent to each other. See you next week.